It's mailbag time here on NBA Now by Chat Sports. Any given Thursday, rolling with you, Harrison and Chase. Get your questions in. Hashtag NBA or Super Chat. Ask about the All-Star break, whatever. Second half, playoffs, offseason, trade ideas. We'll answer it all. Just get those questions in. And we're going to start with the Super Chat from Mr. Stegosaurus, a draft question. All right. Why is nobody talking about Oscar Tshiebwe from Kentucky? Dude is a double-double machine, and besides refining his offense, he's a good enough defender, and what a sleeper trait could happen. What sleeper trade could happen this offseason? Before we get to the trade sleeper thing, West Virginia transfer Chase to Kentucky this year. He's averaging 16 points, 15 rebounds, shooting 59% from the floor, 71% from the free throw line, and he is shooting, let's see, he doesn't shoot three, so he's a true big here, 6'9", 260. That's like a frame of a Pistons guy. Isaiah Stewart.
Oh, Isaiah Stewart. Okay.
He's not a true 7-footer.
I thought you were going throwback.
Not a true 7-footer, is a modern big, but just a guy who flat out scores and rebounds.
Yeah, so the problem with him, he's still really raw.
And
he's from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is where Jonathan Kuminga came to America from. So you compare the rawness with the fact that, you know, Kuminga was a little bit raw, but a little bit more well-rounded and gifted. Also, Oscar is 6'9", so he's a little undersized for a guy who doesn't space the floor or shoot any threes. I watched him the other night in that loss against Tennessee. Because of that rawness, so to speak, sometimes he just gets lost on the floor. And you can watch him and see that he just is kind of confused with the moving parts on the basketball floor. Now, over time, good enough athlete to be a good rebounder, to finish around the rim, but he doesn't shoot, a little bit undersized, and he's still somewhat inexperienced. That's why people are sleeping on him. As for a sleeper trade that could happen after the year, how about Anthony Davis for Bradley Beal?
Ooh, I'm in.
Anthony Davis for Bradley Beal.
Let's do it. Chow Lore, hashtag NBA. Who can help the Warriors win the Western Conference Championship against the Suns? How about just getting Draymond and Wiseman healthy?
That'd be nice.
I think that closes the gap at least. Now, I don't know if Phoenix gets beat in 7 games this year, but I think if they're fully healthy, they're the best chance that someone does beat them.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't said this yet on Golden State Warriors today, but you didn't make a move at the NBA trade deadline. Maybe they'll be silent on the NBA buyout market, but how about 2 additions in Draymond Green and James Wiseman, who are better than any buyout candidate out there? Draymond is still a top-level defender, all-star this year, one of the best defenders in the league. James Wiseman is an uber-athletic big who can basically do anything on the floor. He's so gifted if that knee holds up coming off that torn meniscus that he suffered in April. So you get those 2 guys back. That helps you match up better against Phoenix because they've certainly struggled against DeAndre Ayton.
Shout out your favorite team. Let us know who you guys are repping in the NBA this year. Who is your favorite team? Chase is a Sixers fan. I'm a Mavs fan. Let us know who your favorite team is as we continue to answer your questions. João Ferreira, is Gary Harris a good fit for the Bulls, or is it better to get another big man? I think Gary Harris, Chase, is just one of those 3-and-D guys that can fit anywhere. I don't think he would be a bad fit on any roster.
Yeah, and he can also play make a little bit by putting the ball on the hardwood. They did, according to Rick Carlisle, I guess NBA newsbreaker now, sign Tristan Thompson after he was bought out by the Indiana Pacers. So that gives you another big for Chicago. I'm concerned about them in the front court if they meet the Philadelphia 76ers at any point in the NBA playoffs, because Embiid has just torched Vucevic anytime he's gone up against him.
Yeah, and how much of a concern is this Levine lingering knee thing?
Lonzo's still hurt.
He's been playing
Caruso getting back on the floor soon.
Yeah, hey, as long as DeRozan keeps balling, they'll have a chance. L2 Cloud, top 3 MVP. Well, I just mentioned one of them. I'll go Embiid 1, DeRozan 2, and Jokic 3. Right.
Those 3 are in the mix. I think you have to, and we'd be remiss if we don't mention Ja Morant. If you take Ja Morant away from the Memphis Grizzlies, they're probably still a pretty solid team because Tyus Jones is a good backup point guard. But Ja Morant has emerged almost this year as a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah, if he's 4, maybe Steph hasn't shot it as well this year. Maybe he's 5. Is Chris Paul in the mix?
Has to be.
How much they're winning. But I think those top 3 with Morant as a number 4 is kind of where we're at right now. Thad Young, what's up? Which all-star do you think the Blazers should pair with Dame? This is a good question. Honestly, what they need is someone who's like Paul George, Chase, a secondary scorer that's also an elite defender, because they've had a good secondary scorer for years in McCollum, but he just didn't defend at all. And Dame doesn't defend. Jeremy Chugg is saying Kawhi, he's not going anywhere. Neither is Paul George, which is why
a player
I'm saying
like that though.
type of player, like someone who can defend and be a number 2 scorer and, quite frankly, be fine with being your number 2 scorer.
Let me tell you this. I don't think this is going to be Dame's co-star, but what Anthony Simons has done this year,
he's improved a lot.
The work that he's put into his game is really impressive. He has been on a heater the last several weeks, and he's really on his way to having a very good season. Now, he can be the backup. He can be the backcourt, tandem along with Dame, and then you get a wing, which makes you a very, very good team. But Anthony Simons has been great this year. He's really going to be a franchise building block for Portland.
I remember he dropped like 38 on the last day of the season like 3 years ago in an irrelevant game where they were resting their stars, and I was like, who the hell is
Only
this?
22.
And just year in and year out since then, he's gotten a little bit better. And then this year, he's been fantastic.
Trading away Gary Trent Jr. and then Norman Powell has really helped elevate his game.
Sure, that part of it does help. You know what's also sweet? These hoodies. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. All 30 teams being represented. You can go check out different style hoodies as well. I love the player team combo ones here. This Ja Morant one. You got the team logo on the front, the player name, and the number on the back. Sweet look there. Different style hoodies. Yeah, you know, LaMelo Ball, he's wet from 3. He's not getting wet in this jacket because it's waterproof. Chatsports.com/NBA hoodie. Check that link in the comments and in the description of this video. We'll answer a few more questions. Evan Hinder, I think Kevin Knox under Billy Donovan's system, he might be Austin Rivers 2.0. I don't know what you really mean by that because they don't play the same position, but maybe you're saying like a revitalization? Is that what he's going for there?
I think Austin Rivers, he's a better scorer. I think he's a little bit more of a spark plug as an athlete than Kevin Knox. He's not cracking the rotation in Atlanta. He couldn't do the same with New York. I think in New York, a lot of that was because he couldn't play defense, and we know Tibbs is a boomer and really values that more so than offense. But yeah, he needs to play in the G League a little bit. I liked him the first year and in the NBA Summer League.
Yeah.
Since then, he hasn't done much.
Nope. Mr. Clean, 999, who can the Cavs get for Colin Sexton?
A solid player.
Yeah, and I do think someone asked a surprise trade this offseason. I don't even know if it would be a surprise to move on from Sexton this offseason, right? I mean, with Garland, and you've got Karis LeVert now. You don't need Sexton.
No, the rumblings before the year was that Darius Garland, without Colin Sexton, in the minutes without him, was a much better player. Yeah. We've seen that come to the surface this year. Darius Garland is an all-star player and a franchise building block, so that's made Colin Sexton somewhat expendable. They also never signed him to a contract extension. He was eligible for it. They elected not to sign him to that deal, an indication that they didn't really like him moving forward as part of that franchise. New York Knicks, if they have to settle for a middle tier, a 1B type level point guard, I like them going there.
Well, just keep Garland, unlike the Kings keeping out Halliburton. Don't make that mistake.
He's been ripping it up with Indiana.
Yeah, he's going to light it up with the Pacers. Nick says, will Zion be in New York City next year? Dude,
is he going to be on the floor next year?
Yeah, I mean,
let's solve that first.
He's got to get healthy first. Look, if you get what he was last year, I think he's a top 10 player in this league. But we've only seen him be fully healthy for 1 year, so that's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah.
All right, last one here from Tom Downey's burner. Who was the biggest all-star snub not named Jared Allen? That's a good one.
Well, he ended up getting in.
Yeah, as an alternate.
Because of injury.
Gosh. I don't know.
Tyler Hero.
Okay.
Tyler Hero's had a really good year.
All right.
So I'd say him.
I'll defer to you on that one.
Yeah.
There you go, Tyler Hero. Who will win the NBA title this year? We'll end this mailbag on this question. Let us know who's going to win it all in this summer once we get to the playoffs, which, hey, isn't that far away. Let us know who's going to be the champs.